It's Good Friday, and maybe today, like so many other people, you are trying to make sense of this moment. What exactly are we looking at when we look at Jesus Christ crucified? I'll give you 4 things. The first is justice. What you're seeing on the cross is justice being done. Since the very beginning, all kinds of evils and atrocities have been occurring in this world. You see them in the headlines. You have been on the receiving end of other people's evil and awful choices. And you have committed your own evil and awful choices. And God is a God of justice, meaning he demands a response. He demands a payment. He wants these wrongs to be righted. He wants these evils to be addressed. But rather than hold us accountable for these things, knowing it would destroy us, he holds his own son accountable. Knowing, yes, it will kill him, but it will also satisfy the need for justice so that the rest of us can go free. The second thing you're seeing in Jesus' death on the cross is obedience in its purest, most beautiful form. The scriptures say that it was the will of the Father to send his son and to crush him for the sins of the world. And as horrible as that is, Jesus was willing to do it. He was willing to come into this world to live and to die and to rise for us. Jesus is both God and man, but what we see in his humanity is that Jesus didn't want to do this. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane says, "If possible, Father, take this cup away from me, but not my will, but your will be done." I mean, who would want to experience this? The weight of all evil being put on your shoulders, punishment for all of it, accountability for all of it, put upon your flesh. Who would want that? Jesus, in his humanity, pressed against it, but ultimately, he was obedient to it. That brings me to the third thing that you see when you look at the cross on Good Friday. What you see is yourself. What you see is what's required in order to pay for and forgive all of your sins. But more than anything, what you're seeing is God's love for you. The lengths to which he will go to make you right with him, to cover you in forgiveness and mercy and grace. That's the ultimate message of Good Friday, God's love for sinners and the lengths he will go to show us love. Now, you may have noticed that those 3 points, the first letters, they spell out my 4th point. Justice, J. Obedience, O. Y, U. That's my 4th point. Joy. I know it doesn't make sense as we think of the crucifixion to think of joy, but the writer of Hebrews says that it was for the joy set before him that Jesus Christ endured the cross. Jesus Christ is on the cross, and what you're seeing is something he is ultimately glad to do. Though it's difficult, though in his humanity he pressed against it in the garden, he knew that it would lead to joy. The joy of seeing sinners return to the Father, the joy of seeing sins forgiven, the joy of seeing you, me, covered in mercy and grace. What you're seeing is something Jesus was willing to do, glad to do, because in seeing you forgiven, it fills him with joy. So that's what's happening on Good Friday. And I hope you'll get to a church, and I hope you'll look at that cross, and you'll see God's justice, Jesus' obedience. You'll see God's love for you, and you'll know that Jesus did it all out of joy in seeing you as a forgiven member of God's family.